It's a day the Lord has made, and we are glad to be in His presence.
Yes.
Yeah, today is a wonderful day, and as I said, we are glad to see and glad to be alive. In life, you should be grateful to God for the life and the health and all the wonderful things that we do enjoy today. And the book is titled 20 Things I Wish I Had Mastered by Age 30. I know this is a book that everyone must have one. It's not like it's not an option, it's a must. Because really deal the only thing people can know it. When somebody say I know you, he's simply saying that I know your habit. If somebody want to trust you, it's your habit that he trusts. He doesn't trust you, he call of you. It's only the habit that he has been seeing all the while. And he can bear witness that yeah, this person is a good person or this person is not a good person. Today, you are a blessing and you'll be a blessing after the discussion.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
Yes, so we are going to the book and like earlier, we asked for our understanding. So, Papa, you have written a lot about habit in this book. Personally, when I read the book, I was like, whoa, it's a book that, oh, it's so amazing. It's so amazing. It's quite unfortunate that people don't know about themselves. And I've been trying several times to know about themselves, but you are kept inside your habit. Once you know your habit, you know who you are. You are poor by your habit, you are rich by your habit. That is the reality of life. And when I read this book, I was so blessed. I was so blessed. Okay, so Papa,
Stress. A bad person just has bad habits, and a good person has good habits. So that's just all it is. There isn't a person who is thoroughly bad. In other words, they have some good habits the person may have, but they are so overwhelmed by the bad habits that we see the person as bad. And there's no one who is completely perfect person. You may have some few bad habits, but they are few. But they're overwhelmed by his or her good habits. So habit is just the be all and the end all of everything. In fact, the habits are so important that we have societal habits. What we call the societal norms, and they are shaped by leadership. Leadership shape us. So when people come here from other places, say Ghanaians are calm, Ghanaians are laid back. It is a habit we have cultivated over many years. Ghanaians don't like violence. Ghanaians, it's not all of us. We know there are some other people who can kill somebody in the name of the person being the thief and all that. So habits are something we culture, we create, we push. That is why it's incumbent upon any environment clean. Such habits, once you cultivate them, you are just on your way to creating a wealthy society. All wealthy societies went through a phase where they had bad habits and then they were transitioned into a good habit. And that's what has produced the prosperity they enjoy.
wow, amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. I know if you are listening, you are like, oh, really? Wow. Papa, how you said habits are formed by our everyday. I must I be blamed if my habits are formed that way and I was raised in a poor or bad environment. And I mean, must I blame myself? Must I need to be paid for having a bad habit, which wasn't my fault? Or I mean, yeah.
If you, I mean, as you read the book, as you're talking about the 20 things I wish I'd mastered by 8:30, I talk about uh, uh, the things of nature are things that can be changed, and the things of nature are things that you can't change. You are born African, you are born of a certain height. That is nature. That one, nobody, I mean, nobody can blame you for being your color. Actually, that's how you are. Actually, nobody can blame you for being a female. That's what you are. Actually, so those are the things you can blame. That oh, this one, nobody can blame me for being this or that. But when it comes to something you are picked, whether it was taught you by an adult, whether it was the environment that shaped you, the same way you were shaped into them, you can also be shaped out of them. The same way you were brought up to be like that, the same way you can be brought up to undo those things. Any habit that has been acquired can be unmade. You can also leave it. Actually, we can replace with a better habit. So habits, all bad habits can be replaced with a better habit. And societies, individuals, communities have done it over the years several times.
I know that's how I am. The person is having a bad habit, and the person is not making an effort to come out, and he or she is very comfortable in that bad habit. It might not necessarily like what the Bible speaks against. Yes, maybe the way the person talks, maybe the way the person dress, maybe the way. But how is this how is this affecting our relationship, our lives, our happiness, in our everyday life?
There's not a single person, and I repeat, I said without fear of equivocation or contradiction. There's not a single person who has made anything of his life that did not have to stop some bad habits. You ask those who join the military, they discomfort them, they make them feel so uncomfortable with their old habit. They say they are transitioning you from the civilian life into a military life, into a life of a security person. So they wake you up odd hours, you are running hours. Those are things which are not your habit. You sleep at a certain time, they'll make sure they wake you earlier. You go through certain discomfort. You have to change habits that restrain you before you can become who you want to become. You have to. That's what we call going out of your comfort zone. Habits are just things you are comfortable doing because you've done them for so often. They might even be more difficult than the good habit we are asking you to adopt. But just that you've done them for so long that you think they are easier. No, mostly they are not easier. Being poor is not easier than being rich, and yet most of us in Africa and other countries have chosen to still keep our poor habits because nobody has taught us that there are better habits that can make us wealthy. Actually, we spend all we earn, and yet we still want to have money for emergency. It can't happen. So anybody who is still keeping a bad habit, even though his or her attention has been drawn to it, has not had enough motivation to change. Before you can change a habit, you must have a motivation. The motivation is that you want to be better. You want to pass an exam. You want to marry a certain person. There's always a higher motivation that makes us change our bad habit. What is yours? Is it to please your father in heaven? Is it to please a spouse? Is it to get a job avenue? So if you think you don't have enough motivation to change your bad habits, you can keep them. But if you think there's a good reason to change them, then focus on that reason, and from that habit.
Your insight about the question you just asked. Another thought also came to mind. I was like, how can I differentiate my attitude from demonic influence in my life? This is something serious in most of the areas of our life where you just think because of the way you behave, you are demonized. You are demonized. Like this one there, I need a serious deliverance, Papa. Yes, sir. It's my so-called or whatever area of my life. I believe this one there is a demon, is the demons at work. How can I differentiate? Yes.
Remember, let's take of course there are certain habits can be cast on you as a spell.
Okay.
Actually, there are people that have woken up overnight and they are drunkards, but those are extreme cases. There are people that you have been taken over, so you don't know. You know, people will say because some other thing is controlling you. Because some other thing is controlling you. But the habits that you have acquired by nature, you are aware of them, you know of their consequence, and yet you are still doing them. It's even different from an addiction. An addiction is a habit that is out of control, something you want to stop. There may be some influences, but that even come out of your own bad habits that will expose you to it. Once you are prayed for, it must go. Once you even pray for yourself, it must go. But once the habit is still there, it is no longer a demon-induced habit or anything, but it's just a conscious effort that you have not made to change it. That's what is happening.
Wow. Wow. Papa, you have really helped us a lot with this question. With demonic attitudes, you are taking all over the sudden, like you can't control it. But if you are doing something, that this one, something like that, it means that it's an attitude you have to deal with. Papa, in the book, you also talk about many people are carrying burdens we can change if they will be prepared to unlearn the bad them to that situation instead of blaming others. Blaming others.
Yes.
But I know blame game has been happening in offices, marriages, relationships. But let's talk about this.
Do you know there was one pastor was complaining that one of his sons in the church. One day, the wife came that she wanted to divorce him. Not that he was an irresponsible man or anything, but simply because the man has refused to bow before his lips. Why? Because a habit. And because of that simple habit, he was going to lose his wife. So the pastor was like, this is not a matter of prayer or cast out any demon. He just called the guy and says, are you okay? We have invested in this woman. Look at what she has become now. You want to lose her because of bathing? Everything because of cold water. Let her bubble. She wants, since she says she wants you to bath, I'm sure she'll be ready to give more water for you to bath. So that water for you. Why are you going to die by bathing? He just needed counsel to change that bad habit by bathing. And it doesn't. The interesting thing, this thing does not only apply to men. There are also women who don't want to bath in the evening. Who don't want to bath twice in a day. Yes. There are women, Christian tongue-speaking women, who don't want to bath twice. It's irrespective of what the husband drawing the attention to it all the time because it's a habit. So for habit, it doesn't matter who you are. If you have a bad habit, it will continue to show, no matter who you are, because nobody stopped you when you were picking it up. That's why when we were growing up, when you pick something from the floor, they will hit your hand. Like all of those things were attempts to stop us from cultivating a bad habit. Yes. So if you have very good parents, you grow up with very few habits and very few bad habits. But if your parents were neglectful of you, you pick many, many habits because you were too busy going about their own lives. Actually, you pick many, many, many bad habits, and then you become very difficult for people to accommodate when you grow up. Okay, people who come from bad homes are very difficult to live with because they have so many bad habits that are so annoying. Nobody has drawn their attention to it before. So when you even tell them it's annoying, they don't get it about that. It's nothing. I just made a joke. It's just a little joke. I didn't say anything by it. The person has completely made somebody sad and crying. And it happens all the time. And somebody will say, but when you got baptized in the Holy Ghost, the Bible says that the Holy Ghost. You see, that is why the Holy Ghost also bear fruit. And we know that a fruit does not come overnight. It comes with a lot of exercise by listening to the dictates of the Spirit. Then we mature by learning to differentiate between right and wrong. That is when we bear those fruit of gentleness, meekness, and all of those things. And those are the things that work against our bad habits. That the fruit of the Spirit. That's how come you need the fruit of the Spirit in your life to mitigate against the bad habits. Yes.
Wow, wow. In fact, Papa is so amazing. The things that I'm learning here, it's like I'm not even going through the book. Yes. Papa, I want to ask a simple question. If my life is all about habit, how can I improve my performance, my effectiveness, my personality with my attitude? How?
The good thing about habit is that because they are learnable, is that you can pick. That's why you can learn from somebody. You can pick the good habit that makes somebody progress. And once you are able to master them, you also find yourself progressing. That's how come you can learn from somebody. You can learn from his good habit, her good habits. You can learn from something the person, you are talking about it. So as I speak, by the grace of God, I've written about 18 books. Initially, I couldn't even write a page. I had a habit of not wanting to write. I couldn't write a page, but once I had a higher motivation to write, I kept on writing something within 6 weeks. I would have finished a whole book of more than 180 pages. And I would have typed all of it myself, edited it and everything myself. Give yourself a good reason to pick a good habit. Because everybody you admire has become who the person is by some good habit. Everybody. Nobody became who they are just like that. They had to do it by some repeatable habit. They had to do it by some repeatable action. They had to do it by some repeatable force. And all of it can be learned, improved upon for you to become what they are and be more.
I'm so blessed. Personally, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. So, Papa, how you said I should accept a good reason to change bad habit.
Yeah.
I mean, how will I get such a reason? Maybe I'm somebody who have not even, my exposure is not even much. When you're talking about habit, I don't even know the kind of habit you're talking about. And I have some things I really want to do, but I don't know but how will I be able to have that good reason? Yeah. How will I cultivate that good reason?
You said something very profound. Let me go into it. As you said, somebody might not even know what a habit is. Okay. A habit are the things, are not only the things we do, but the things we refuse to do. So when I talk about habit, I'm not only talking about
Please say that in again.
a habit is not only something you do, but also something you refuse to do. So a habit is not only an action something, it's also inaction. It's action and inaction. So there are people who have the habit of not wanting to work hard. They have the habit of laziness. They don't want to work hard. They don't want to stress themselves. They don't want any stress. And so therefore, when you send them to anything that is stressful, they will shy away from it. No matter what is there for them, they will not, because they don't want to be stressed. And then it's an action activity, it's an inaction activity. So that's the broad categories of habits. And then we have the habit of what we say. Habit of what we say. All our senses are involved in habit. Habit of what we say, habit of what we watch, habit of what we do, we do all of the habit of what we listen to, so all our senses are involved in some habits which may be good or bad. And that's what the Bible is saying, watch your tongue, because that tongue can set the whole world on fire. It's a habit. Everything that passes through your mind will come through your mouth. No. Your Bible says we should guard our mind. Your mind is like a sieve. There are things when it comes, you throw them out. Things when they come, you let them remain inside. Things when you come, you actually brood over them, meditate on them. It's not everything that occurs to your mind that you must say. And the people who cannot do that have the habit of slandering people, saying things about people. I mean, actually swearing that they were there when something when they were not even there. And they also have even the habit of what we imagine. After this one is so bad that it has even led people to mental illness. They have this tendency to imagine, exaggerate everything in their mind. Everything you say, they will imagine it to be worse than it is. Some people usually drift into depression. They can become suicidal. They can become psychotic. They may become schizophrenic when they begin to see things. Those are all bad habits that can get out of hand, actually. So a habit is not only what you are doing, it's also what you have refused to do. You've refused to submit to your husband. It's a habit. You've refused to respect him. It's a habit. It's something you are not doing, but it's still a habit. If you refuse to honor your wife, it's a habit. If you refuse to commend her when she does something good, if you have refused to commend her when she's even looking good, it's a habit. And it's a bad one. So habits are not only what you do, but also what you do not do. And that is what we must understand, that habits have to do with what we decide to do and what we decide not to do. And all been thinking, it comes automatically. It comes automatically. The next question after that was something you asked, yeah. So how do you get the reason? Hey, young man, you want to remain down there. If you want to remain, if you don't take care within a matter of 5 years, between you and your classmate, you will be not only the junior to your classmate, but if where your classmate goes, you cannot even go there. That's the extent to which people can rise quickly with a good habit. Because you have refused to serve, you have refused to be available, you have refused to be serviceable, you have refused to be teachable. Everybody is passing you by, and you are saying you don't have enough reason to do the right thing. Have you realized that even the people that you want to move with, because they think you're not doing well, they're not even paying attention to you, and you're saying you don't have enough reason as a young lady, you don't have enough reason to do the right things. You see all the disappointment you are getting. Anytime things are going on well, you go and insult somebody, and then the person will leave you. And you are saying you don't have a good reason to. You think going to prayer camps alone, when the thing is not spiritual, you think will change something? When the thing is spiritual, when you go and you deal with it. Otherwise, it doesn't matter how many times you break and bind. If it is a habit, it will still continue to produce the results it's producing. Because Bible says that we cannot be deceived. What we sow is what we reap. You cannot sow a bad habit and reap a good result. It doesn't work out that way. It's destroying all your relationship. You are telling me you don't have a good enough reason to stop. It's pushing your marriage back. It's pushing your progress at work back. Your laziness is making you have all kinds of bosses who do not want to see your face, and you still say you don't have a good reason, to change things. You're eating all the time, and therefore you are twice your size, and you still say you don't have enough reason to change. Please, your bad habits can kill you. Many people are dying because of their bad habit. They don't want to do anything, exercise, and yet they are eating all the time. If that is another bad habit, Bible calls it gluttony. If you do not stop that bad habit, you will shorten your life. You don't even have the time to do the ministry you want to do. There's every good reason to pick a good habit. Isaac.
Papa, thank you so much.
Yes.
Papa, thank you. We have been so blessed. Papa, I personally learned some things that I've never heard them anyway. I've read this book, but Papa, this part,
I have to write part 2 or something.
Oh my God, is so. In fact, we will bring our discussion to an end. But one thing you need to do is the only way you can know yourself is your habit. The better way to know yourself is to know your habit. And Papa was talking about having a good reason. Without an exposure, you never see any good reason. You don't read books. You don't watch some educative videos.
You don't listen to anything.
You don't listen to anything. And you, I guess you, Mr. You, Madam You, oh, please. The world is bigger than we think and than we live. Yes. So when you open up yourself, you see better attitude that you can learn from other people. Yes. For instance, I want to just say this here. When I read this book, I realized that Papa even read more than 100 books from different sources, even before he started writing. And I'm like, if I want to really, the way I admire him and the way I like the things he's doing, then I don't even have to read 100 books. I have to read around 200 or 300. And that alone will give you that kind of desire to go for more books, to be committed and to be enlightened in every way. And if you are not opening up to these exposures, you will never know your steps. The Lord bless you for coming our way. And we know you'll be a blessing after watching. And we want to tell you that after you watch, please share. Share it everywhere. And I know the Lord will bless anyone you think of sharing with. God bless you. And may God continue to bless you. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Take a good habit.
Take a good habit.
Yes, bless. Bye.